Hello, everybody. Well, it is great to be here at the Arc with the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Washington. Give it up for the world champion Los Angeles Lakers. I want to congratulate everybody on the team, everybody who works for the organization, and all the fans who cheer them on year after year. We've also got, by the way, one of California's great members of Congress in the House. Grace Napolitano is here. Hello, Grace. Now, I have to say that there's a long-standing tradition of welcoming championship sports teams to the White House. But here's the thing. These guys have been there so often. You know, they were just there last year because they won the title. And Kobe and Derek have been there so many times now they could lead tours themselves. Same is true for Coach Jackson. So I thought we'd change things up a little bit. We teamed up with NBA Cares to come here to the Arc and spend a little time with the unbelievable young people who are here, as well as the terrific staff. And I was just walking around watching these players work with students, assembling care packages for our wounded warriors, putting together some toiletry kits for the homeless here in Washington, D.C., and trying to keep up with the kids on the Big Brain Academy Challenge, which I didn't even try because it was moving way too fast for me. But that's the beauty of service. Anybody can do it. The Lakers have a proud tradition of performing community service in the LA community, and I'm glad that they took the time to help us during the holiday season here in Washington, D.C. We celebrate that spirit of service off the court because it's very hard to do what these guys do on the court, but everybody can serve off the court. Now, on the court, there aren't too many folks who can do what the Los Angeles Lakers do. This year, they won their second title in a row and their 16th championship overall. That's one behind the Boston Celtics for the most of all time. Boston Celtics, of course, they beat in this year's finals. I want to congratulate Coach Phil Jackson on earning his 11th NBA championship ring. It was his 5th championship with the Lakers, which I should point out is still one behind the 6 he won with the Chicago Bulls. No. Kobe said not for long, though. We are still grateful for you, Coach, in Chicago. And it has been a long drought since Phil left Chicago, although I have to say they witnessed in person on Friday that my Bulls are showing some signs of life. I want to congratulate Kobe Bryant, the NBA Finals MVP for the second year in a row. Kobe was there when we organized a little pickup game for my 49th birthday. Pau Gasol and some other NBA players participated. Derek was there. Kobe was sidelined because he had just gotten some treatment on his knee. I was not yet sidelined with my busted lip. But nobody was taking it easy on me because Pau was on my team. So I kept on just passing to him. And now, you know, I got to see how everybody else on the Lakers gets so many open looks if you've got Pau Gasol in the middle. So I just want to congratulate all the LA Lakers for being one of the outstanding sports franchises in our country and in our history. I wish all of you guys great luck for the rest of the season. But especially, I just want to thank you for being so generous with your time with these kids. You know, these young people here are working hard. They're doing well in school. They were really helping me out as I was going through that line, packing those care boxes, making sure I didn't screw up. We are incredibly proud of them, but you know, every once in a while they need a little encouragement, and they need to know that no dream is beyond their reach. And so when they see people like the Los Angeles Lakers who are willing to spend time with them, that sends a message to them that they're special. And you guys can't give a better gift than that during the holiday season. So thank you very much. We're really proud of you. Congratulations. We've got a whole bunch of pictures already. We all good? What is better here? Hello, hello. Hey, you. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, everybody. Please have a seat. Welcome to the White House. And congratulations, a little belatedly, to the Los Angeles Lakers for winning your 15th NBA title and 4th in the past 10 years. Before I say a few things about the Lakers, I just want to acknowledge some wonderful members of Congress and big Lakers fans who are here. Congresswoman Jane Harman, Congresswoman Laura Richardson, Congressman Adam Schiff, Congressman Brad Sherman, and Lucille Roybal Allard. Please, everybody, give them a big round of applause. Now, as folks here will tell you, the only thing that is better than playing basketball, the only thing that's better than watching basketball is playing basketball, but I'm 48 and soon to be 49, and it's a little harder these days to move around on the court, especially when you're playing against kids who are half your age. But I still get enormous pleasure from watching great athletes on the court. And nobody exemplifies excellence in basketball better than the Los Angeles Lakers last year. I want to congratulate everybody who helped make this team what it is, from the assistants to the front office staff, the trainers and the ticket takers, all the fans back in LA who bleed purple and gold. You all should be very proud. That's you? Is that? Yeah. I want to congratulate Jeannie Buss and the rest of the Buss family for guiding this team so well for the last 30 years. I am especially excited to meet Coach Phil Jackson, the Zen Master. I've been a fan of Coach Jackson's ever since his days running the Triangle Offense in Chicago. I want to congratulate him on his 10th NBA championship, the most in history. I do want to point out that 6 of them came with the Bulls. I just want to point that out. You remember that, Magic?
Yes, sir.
90-91? Remember when Jordan went out? You know, they won the first game and they were feeling cocky. And then Paxson was hitting all those shots. Oh, anyway, that's not why we're here. I was hoping that, Coach, you were going to bring some books for Republicans and Democrats in Congress, maybe to get them to start playing like a team together. Coach is famous for passing out books and helping people get the job done. We are obviously honored to have one of the all-time greats in NBA history, Magic Johnson. Magic did pretty well during his time at the Lakers. He wasn't bad, and now a new generation is continuing his legacy. But obviously, part of what makes Magic special wasn't just how he played on the court, but also just the infectious enthusiasm about life and what he's now doing with businesses and minority communities. He's just been an outstanding leader in our country for a long time. Of course, I've got to recognize Kobe Bryant, one of the most competitive players I've ever seen. For being named Finals MVP last year, obviously already MVPs under his belt, the youngest player ever to reach 25,000 points in his career. And he's playing with a broken finger. Now, if I had a broken finger, I would have trouble getting out of bed. And he's still leading the team day in, day out. This is a team that never lost its focus last season, from the first tip-off to the final buzzer. I know that the Lakers have a tradition of ending each team gathering, whether it's a practice or a game or a team meeting, with the chant 1, 2, 3 rings. As Lamar Odom said, we kind of always saw that light. Everyone was willing to do what it took to get a little stronger, to play a little harder, and to bring home that title. But I think it's important to note that this team also knows that being a champ is about more than trophies and rings. It's about being a winner off the court as well as on it, and giving back to those who are less fortunate. The Lakers and the NBA have always been about serving others, at home and around the world. And that tradition continued last week when the NBA and the Players Association, led by Derek Fisher, pledged to donate $1 million to support relief efforts in Haiti. Jordan Farmer and Paul Gasol are also donating their money to the Clinton Bush Haiti Fund. Paul pledged $1,000 for every point he scored against the Knicks, and I'm glad he dropped 20, helping the Lakers to beat New York and changing the lives of Haitians thousands of miles away. And earlier today, the team joined with our United We Serve initiative to hold a fitness clinic for kids from Stanton Elementary School right here in Washington, D.C., teaching them about a few moves, but also how to live healthy and active lives. So I just want to, again, thank the entire Lakers organization for your service, for the great joy that you have given the city of Los Angeles, but also the incredible competition that your organization has graced the basketball court with for decades now. If this season's anything like the last one, I know that you guys have your sight on the NBA Finals, so we might see you here before long. But we are very grateful for your presence here today. Give them a big round of applause. Now, one last thing. I was also told that Mr. Brown here intends to win the dunk contest. So we'll see how that goes. We're going to break down the podium, and we're going to get a formal picture. Is that right? Okay, let's go. All right. I get my official Lakers jersey here. It's official. Everybody get it? I know. It won't last long. Derek Rose is coming up. All right. Well, congratulations again, guys. Thank you. I'm very proud. Welcome to the White House, and congratulations to the world champion Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, we got some Texas people here. This was the Mavericks' first title, so I want to start by recognizing everybody who stuck with the team through good times and through bad, from Don Carter, the original owner, to the arena staff, to all the fans back home. We've got some members of Congress who've waited a long time for this, as well as my trade representative, Ron Kirk, who happens to be a former mayor of Dallas. Of course, none of this would be possible if it hadn't been for the shy and retiring owner of the Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban. So, not only did Mark help put together an outstanding group of players and coaches, he was also responsible for making this event happen today. And so we are thrilled to have you guys here. It turns out that because of the lockout, Dallas wasn't scheduled to play in Washington this season. That did not sit well with Mark. He knew this team had worked hard. He wanted them to get all the perks of a world championship, including a visit to the White House. It is tough to say no to Mark Cuban, and so they made a separate trip, and here we are. And I'm glad it worked out, because this is a special group. Last season, they called themselves the Bad News Bears, because from the very beginning, nobody gave them much of a chance. People said that Jason Kidd was too old, and I will say that this is the first time I've been with some world champions who are my contemporaries. They said J.J. Barea was too small, that Dirk Nowitzki was too slow. They did say that, Dirk. I'm sorry. That's what they said. They said you had a great jump shot, but they said Deshaun Stevenson was too crazy. They said the Jet, was terrific, but they weren't sure whether that tattoo was such a good idea. But these players got it done because they know how good teams win, not just by jumping higher or running faster, but by finding the open man, working together, staying mentally tough, being supportive of each other, playing smarter. And that's how the Mavericks took down some of the league's best teams, including the Miami Heat, who got a little bit of attention last year. This was especially sweet for Dirk and Jason, who were around the first time that the Mavericks and the Heat met in the finals and lost 5 years ago. In fact, the Mavericks played, before the Mavericks played a single game last season, when Jason got his tattoo, he said, when you do something as crazy as I did, you've got to back it up. And he did, by the way, score 27 points to help win the deciding Game 6. So, Dirk joined the Maverick 13 years ago as a skinny kid from Germany with what he describes as a goofy haircut. Last year, he became the second European player ever to be named Finals MVP. and it wasn't easy. He bent a finger so badly in Game 2 that he had to shoot left-handed. In Game 4, he played through 101-degree fever, but every time he came through when it counted. And I think it's fair to say that we have very rarely seen a better playoff run than Dirk Nowitzki had last year. It was remarkable. So clearly Dirk is a tough guy, although the most painful thing may have been his rendition of "We Are the Champions" during the victory celebration. That was, you said you worked on that? Seriously? Okay. Now, none of these players would have gotten so far without the rest of the folks on this stage. Obviously, Jason Kidd now has the second most assists and third most steals in NBA history. It wouldn't have worked without an outstanding coach. And Coach Rick Carlisle has now won a title as a player with Larry Bird in the 80s, has a title as a coach, and then he just informed me that he had also won, what was it, the Pantoons? What were they called?
The Patroons, the Albany Patroons.
The Albany Patroons. Many of you did not know that Rick Carlisle had also won one of those. It's a minor league team. So these players and coaches will always share a bond that comes with being the best. And it's a bond they share with the Dallas community, where they do everything from setting up scholarships to helping military families get back on their feet. Today, in fact, they met with some wounded warriors here at the White House. I want to really thank them for taking the time to do that. That means so much to people. This team really does have a heart that's the size of Texas. This was a remarkable run, a great victory, a great vindication for all the effort Mark Cuban put into building this team, and for longtime players like Dirk Nowitzki and long-suffering fans like all of you. And so I just want to give a heartfelt congratulations to all of you. I told them that you know, it's too bad that next year it'll be the Chicago Bulls here, but they said I shouldn't be so confident. So congratulations, everybody. Give it up for the Dallas Mavericks. And, Dirk, you got something for me? Come on. All right. That's it. That's what I'm talking about.
That's it. I heard you're a big fan.
Thank you so well. You know, I was actually I was 23 before Jordan.
Oh, you were?
I was. So he got the number from me. I think.
Stole it.
He stole it. That's what.
I got you.
That's what happened. That's beautiful. So I think we're going to take a picture. Are you guys going to break this down? Congratulations. Well, today I'm honored to welcome a little up-and-coming basketball team to the White House called the world champion Miami Heat. Now, for many teams that come here, this is a lot of cameras in one place. It's a little overwhelming. But for the Heat, this is what practice looks like. This is normal. I know this is the first trip for some of these players, but a few of them were here a couple of years ago for a pickup game on my birthday. Now, I'm not trying to take all the credit, Coach, but I think that it's clear that going up against me prepared them to take on Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. It sharpened their skills. It gave them the competitive edge that they needed. And I think part of the reason they came back today is they want another shot at the old guy. But first, I have to congratulate the Heat on their well-earned title. This team traveled a long road to get to where they are. In 2011, the Heat got all the way to the finals, only to come up short. But when you fall, the real test is whether you can ignore the naysayers, pick yourself up, and come back stronger. And that's true in basketball, but it's also true in life. That's exactly what these guys did. Instead of getting down, they got better. Dwayne Wade worked on his core. LeBron learned some post moves from Hakeem. Shane Battier came on board. They became a more complete team. They got to know each other better and trust each other more. And they became more fun to watch. In Game 4 against the Thunder last year, we saw LeBron carried off the floor with cramps, only to come back a few minutes later and hit a dagger of a three-pointer to put the Heat ahead. During Game 6, we saw him pull off one of the greatest performances in basketball playoff history, dropping 45 points and had a scary look in his eye. We saw Dwayne Wade, the heart and soul of this team, continue to do whatever it takes to win, including leading the team in blocks. And at the post-game press conferences, he dressed well enough to land himself in GQ magazine. Show him your kicks here, Brian. If any of you can pull this off, other than Dwayne Wade, let me know. We saw Chris Bosh get injured but get healthy right at the perfect time and do outstanding work throughout the rest of the playoffs. And it wasn't just the big three. Mike Miller could barely walk. Mike, you look better now. You look broke down last year. But still hit 7 three-pointers in the final game. I don't know how he did it because he could not walk. He looked like an old man. Mario Chalmers earned himself a nickname from Dwayne Wade that I'm not allowed to repeat. But he did a great job. Shane Battier, as always, played impeccable defense, hit big threes. Juwan Howard, Grandpa, became the first member of the Fab Five to win a ring. And Coach continually set the tone and kept these guys motivated the entire way. So that team mentality, with everybody doing their part, is what finally put the Heat over the top. And it's especially impressive when you think about everything they've had to deal with over the last few years. This team inspired a lot of passions on both sides, and I'm just talking about their dance moves now. We saw that video, LeBron. But even though I'm a little disappointed that the Bulls didn't make it, I do want to congratulate the Heat for a well-earned championship. LeBron said it's about damn time. And I want to thank them for taking the time this afternoon to spend with Wounded Warriors of Walter Reed, because you guys are heroes to them, but they're heroes to all of us. And let me just say one last thing about these guys, and I mentioned this as we were coming in. Now, there's a lot of focus on what happens on the court, but what's also important is what happens off the court. And I don't know all these guys, but I do know LeBron and Dwayne and Chris. And one of the things I'm proudest of is that they take their roles as fathers seriously. And for all the young men out there who are looking up to them all the time, for them to see somebody who cares about their kids and is there for them day in, day out, that's a good message to send. It's a positive message to send, and we're very proud of them for that. So, Congratulations again to the Miami Heat. And now we are going to take a picture that makes me look very short. I'm accustomed to it, but first I'm going to ask Coach to say a few words. Thank you, Coach.
Well, on behalf of Mickey Arison, Pat Riley, the entire Miami Heat organization, and our families, we want to thank you for your hospitality today, to be in the White House, and also to be inspired by the great men and women of the Walter Reed Hospital. We are honored and truly, truly humbled to be here. We actually hope that this team serves as an inspiration to the nation of what a group can do when you come together and sacrifice your egos for a greater goal, to come together with a real hard hat work ethic, and to be able to persevere through adversity and a whole heck of a lot of criticism, and still be able to accomplish the ultimate dream.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Come on, Lamar.
Am I supposed to say something?
Hey, you can if you want. It's your world, man.
Say something? I mean, on behalf of myself and my teammates, we just want to thank you. To piggyback what Spo said, for the hospitality, for allowing us to be. In the White House. We're in the White House. And Coach said, Brad said it's real casual. So we kids from Chicago and Dallas, Texas, and Michigan and Ohio and South Dakota, Miami. And we're in the White House right now. This is like, hey, Mama, I made it.
All I got to say is we got a 10-day contract left.
Yeah.
Pick my man up.
You guys could use a shooter.
My point guard.
Thank you, man. Thank you. All right. You guys want to... Everybody, please have a seat. Have a seat. Welcome to the White House. Actually, for these guys, it is welcome back to the White House after being back-to-back world champions, the Miami Heat. Now, one of the cool things about this job is welcoming championship sports teams from across the sporting world to the White House. And usually people enjoy coming to the White House. I have to say, I've never seen folks more excited than the Heat when they came last year. LeBron was so pumped up, I thought he was going to give me a hug and knock me over, like the guy in SportsCenter who hit the half-court shot. It was wonderful to see them then. It is wonderful to see them back. We've got some outstanding members of Congress who are big fans of the Heat. They're from both parties because we all know nothing brings people together like the Miami Heat. Across the NBA, there's just a unifying sense about the Heat. I want to congratulate Coach Spoelstra for the outstanding work that he does. Legendary team president Pat Riley for his outstanding leadership, and all the coaches and players, members of the staff and crew to make a championship season. This group has now won twice, but it's gone to the finals 3 times. And sometimes it feels like they're still fighting for a little respect. I can relate to that. Last season, the Heat put together one of the most dominating regular seasons ever by a defending champion. They won a team record 66 games. At one point, they won 27 games straight, the second longest winning streak ever. Extraordinarily impressive, almost as impressive as the Bulls' 72-win season. Riley and I were reminiscing about those Knicks years. But as these guys know, winning a title is never easy. In the playoffs, the Pacers put them through 7 bruising games. In the finals, the Spurs showed us all that they've got an awful lot of life left in them, and one of the greatest players of all time and one of the greatest coaches of all time. In fact, San Antonio had the series all but wrapped up in Game 6. As you will recall, Miami was down 5 points, less than 30 seconds to go. The last 122 times that happened in the playoffs, the team that was down lost 122 times. And then they brought out the ropes. And then Ray Allen saw them bring out the ropes. And with 5 seconds left, Chris Bosh gets an incredible offensive rebound, passes that out to Ray. Ray's backing up. He's got to jump forward, hits one of the most iconic shots of all time. And then he added a few choice words about the ropes, which we cannot repeat here. But Ray, I do want you to know that, you know, when you say those things on the court, like, people can read your lips, right? You do understand that. Okay, all right. So the Heat won Game 6, went on to win Game 7, their 3rd title in 8 seasons. LeBron James earned his 2nd straight Finals MVP to go along with 4 regular season MVPs in 5 years. Dwayne Wade, warrior that he is, paid through a pair of injured knees, always came through when it mattered. Chris Bosh was there playing great defense, getting the rebound, hitting a clutch shot. Everybody on this team participated, and from Ray's big shot to the contributions of Mario Chalmers, Shane Battier, Udonis Haslem, Birdman's tattoos, Birdman's mohawk. The Heat showed us the kind of heart and determination it takes to be a champion. And they also showed what heart means off the court. Last year, they raised close to $2 million for local charities. Before this event, they met with some of our amazing wounded warriors over at Walter Reed, and we're proud to have some of those wounded warriors here in the audience here today. You know, honoring our troops. You know, honoring our troops isn't just something that they do when they come to the White House. It's something they do all year round with their Heat Home Strong initiative. And Pat Riley, I know, has been hugely invested in this, and we talked a little bit about this. His incredible admiration for our men and women in uniform, but more concretely, his willingness to do something about how we support them, I think is a credit to the entire organization. On top of that, Coach Spoelstra serves as a member of the NBA Fit Team to encourage healthy habits among young people. I know Michelle is thankful for the support that many of these players have given to her Let's Move initiative. I heard that all of you are getting ready to embarrass yourselves by singing some karaoke for Shane's Education Foundation. Just leave Al Green to the pros, people. So bottom line is, outstanding athletes, outstanding organization, outstanding team, but also outstanding members of their community. And so we're very proud to have them back. We wish them great luck for the rest of the season, unless they're playing the Bulls. And with that, I think we should take a picture, but we should make it quick before one of these guys starts yelling at Mario. I mean, sometimes it's just a bad pass, guys. It's not Mario's fault. No. I got your back, man.
Well, this is a great honor for the entire Miami Heat family. It does not get old, okay? And what this is we put this together before the playoff run last year, and it was a covenant between all of us that we signed that we would commit to each other all the way to the end. So we have
This is outstanding.
marks for each win, and it signified each player would mark the win for that game, and the final one was the team one. So this one, right here, you can see 44.
There
and
you
your
go.
name right
Just,
there.
it was added
Yeah.
to it. The, you know, you guys are winning me over a little bit.
Getting there.
You know, I mean,
We promise we'll put together another one for you and let you mark it this year. Okay? Okay?
congratulations. Thank you. You guys want to slide this? Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the White House. Everybody, please have a seat. In case you didn't know, these are the NBA champion San Antonio Spurs. I was considering having the vice president cover these remarks so I could stay fresh for State of the Union. Taking an example off Pop, who, you know, sits his stars sometimes. But I decided I actually want to meet them. So I know we've got a lot of Spurs fans in the house, no doubt, including a guy I stole from San Antonio, our Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, former Mayor Julian Castro. Hey. Of course, we want to welcome General Manager R.C. Buford and of course, Coach Popovich. I want the coach to know that he is not contractually obligated to take questions after the first quarter of my remarks. Now, look, I admit it, I'm a Bulls fan. It's never easy celebrating a non-Bulls team in the White House. That's all I've been able to do. So far. But even I have to admit that the Spurs are hard to dislike. First of all, they're old. And for an old guy, it makes me feel good to see, you know, where's Tim? You know, Tim's got some gray. There's a few others, you know, with little sprinkles around here. There's a reason why the uniform is black and silver. So it makes me feel good to see that folks in advancing years can succeed in a young man's sport. But it's also because this is an international team. It's the UN of basketball teams. And it shows the way that this wonderful sport has become an international sport. You know, some people have rightfully started calling it the Spurs style of basketball, the beautiful game. And when you look at the passing and guys back cutting to the hoop and sharing the basketball, you see basketball the way it should be played. And I was telling these guys, you can now see everybody around the league actually stealing, first of all, assistant coaches who then become coaches and then start applying that style of play all around the league, and it's made the game better. Now, this has not always been the case, all the accolades that the Spurs received. Let's face it, just a little while back, people were saying that the Spurs were past their prime, not just old, but kind of boring. Now they're fresh and exciting, which is basically the exact opposite of what happens to presidents. You know, it's a different trajectory. Last season was all about redemption for the Spurs. Everybody remembers the heartbreaking loss for the Spurs, not for Miami, 2 years ago. And Game 6 obviously was crazy. I'm not going to make you relive all the details. As Tony Parker said, it seemed like the basketball gods were just being cruel. But the Spurs came back focused. And Tim, who's not used to, not renowned for his trash talking, was very clear about the fact that they were going to get back to the finals. They earned the league's best record, including a franchise record 19 in a row, made it back against the finals, and then eviscerated the Heat, winning in 5 games with an average margin of 14 points, which was the most lopsided margin in finals history. Now, that may have been a high water mark for excellence, but this is an organization that has been marked by excellence, one of the best in professional supports. Since drafting Tim Duncan in 1997, they've won 5 titles. Tim has now won rings 15 years apart, only the second player in history to win titles in 3 different decades. Tim and Tony and Manu have won more playoff games than any trio in NBA history. But what's been remarkable as you watch this team over the decade is not just the incredible play of the big 3, it's also how the organization always seems to be able to pull together those missing pieces and everybody performing at an incredibly high level. You've got Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard, who played magnificently. You've got Boris Diaw, one of the best passing big men in the game. Thiago Splitter, Danny Green, Patty Mills, Marco Bellinelli, who we miss on the Bulls. You've got Matt Bonner, who my notes tell me is a sandwich blogger named Red Mamba. I mean, how can you not like a guy like that? I don't know. And San Antonio has a special bond with its fans. You hear it in the Go Spurs Go chants. You see it in how the Spurs give back to their community. Coach Popovich has helped the San Antonio Food Bank raise millions of dollars. The Spurs honor our troops and our veterans and their families with camouflage uniforms and discounted tickets. And earlier today, they met with some of our wounded warriors from Walter Reed and Fort Belvoir. And they've been outstanding supporters of San Antonio's East Side, an area I designated as a promise zone. They've created literacy programs, bought tablets and computers for schools. Spurs staffers have served as mentors for young people. So they've been leading in the community. They've been leading in terms of style of play. I want to commend the Spurs as well for something they did after the championship, hiring Becky Hammon, who is the first female full-time assistant coach in the NBA. And as somebody who's got 2 daughters, one of who is a baller, it makes me feel good when excellence is recognized regardless of gender. So that's what the Spurs do. They find ways to put together the best team, whether it means going to Australia or Italy or the WNBA. They want everybody on the court. They think everybody has worth. They find folks who didn't have a chance someplace else, and suddenly they figure out a way to make them shine as part of a team. And in that sense, they're a great metaphor for what America should be all about. So I just want to say, once again, congratulations. They're working through some injuries on their quest to another title. But I'll tell you what, if guys need any tips on winning back-to-back, you know where to find me. So, that was the best part.
Mine isn't here, sir.
You don't get notes, man, mainly because you just give one-word answers.
What I want to remind the president about, if I might, with all due respect, when I sit stars, I get fined. He doesn't. So, but mostly I would just like to say thank you to the president and for all the people here for having us. It truly is an honor to be here, and for me, the most satisfying part is to be able to be with all these guys. They truly have gotten over themselves. They care about the group more than the individual, and I didn't do that. That's in their character. That's who they are. So it's a pleasure to have them here, be honored by all of you, especially so many San Antonio fans and people that know San Antonio. We know that we answer to you all, and we feel that all the time. The last thing I want to say is all the pieces that the president talked about that get put together to keep the team at an excellent level, the guy responsible for that is right here, R.C. Buford. He's the guy that does that. Now we have some things for the president, I believe.
What we got here?
We got some stuff. Come on, guys.
All righty. There you go. That's sharp. Very nice, very nice. Thank you. Do I get to keep this too? While we strike the podium down.
One more.
Oh, we got a ball? That's a nice looking ball. Right? Thank you for signing, John. Let's slide in here, Coach. All right. Hold on a second. I gotta get the jersey. All right. Hand out a dime to Tony there. All good? All right. Well, congratulations. Well, welcome to the White House, everybody. Give it up for the NBA champion, Golden State Warriors. Everybody, please have a seat. Now, let me begin by saying I was hoping that Riley Curry would be here today to share the podium with me, but I guess I'm going to have to get media training some other day. The East Room is not as loud as the Roaracle, but Dove Nation is well represented. We've got some members of my cabinet and Congress in the House who are big fans, and I don't just mean Harrison Barnes, who apparently they call the senator. He's from Iowa, so maybe he's got some politics in his blood. But we've got one of the biggest Golden State Warrior fans around, our leader in the House of Representatives, Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi. We got Republican leader Kevin McCarthy is here, so this is bipartisan. We have Mayor Schaaf is here. So we're glad you're here to celebrate the best in the Bay. What's going on back there? I also want to recognize Warrior Executive Board member and NBA legend, one of the greatest of all time, the Logo, Jerry West. He's worth a standing ovation. As well as owner Joe Lacob and general manager Bob Myers. Give them a big round of applause. Now, it is rare to be in the presence of guys from the greatest team in NBA history. So we're pretty lucky today because we've got one of those players in the house, Steve Kerr from the 1995-96 Chicago Bulls. It's good to see you back. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Warriors started the season without Coach Kerr, who was recovering from back surgery, so Luke Walton stepped up and led the team to a ridiculous 39-4 record. Unfortunately, the NBA won't let Luke count those wins as his own, which, man, that doesn't seem fair. You defied the cynics, you accomplished big things, you racked up a great record, and you don't get enough credit. I can't imagine how that feels. Now, let's face it, the Warriors are in the midst of a pretty special two-year run. Folks are saying that they are revolutionizing basketball. They are so good that they seem to be just breaking the game itself. And I don't play anymore, but I still know a little bit about basketball, and this really is one of the best that we've ever seen. Great shooting, great passing, a small ball, nuclear lineup. It's almost not fair. And they play not just well, but they play well together. They play as a team the way basketball is supposed to be played, and it's beautiful to watch when they're working on all cylinders. Now, let's face it, beautiful was not how folks described the Warriors for many years. I may be one of the few who are old enough to remember the last time they were good. Back in the middle 70s, I was, last time they won a championship, I was 10 years old. So, the franchise had had some good teams and some great players, but it had been struggling. One college player forgot that there was even a team in Oakland. That was Klay Thompson, by the way. But a few years ago, Joe Lacob took over, pointed to that 1975 championship banner and said, "That's a very lonely flag. We need another one." And last year they got it. 67 wins, 16 straight at one point. That used to seem like a lot until this year, where they started off 24-0. Ended last season with their first title in 40 years. And obviously a big part of that was league MVP Steph Curry. Steph's a pretty good shooter. For those of you who watched the game against the Wizards last night, he was, to use slang, he was clowning. He was all jumping up and down. Just settle down. By the way, for the record, I heard during this summer, after our golf game, that Steph was using the excuse of Secret Service being intimidating for why he lost the match. That is not the case. But he will have another opportunity. Obviously, watching Steph play is incredible. And for anybody who enjoys basketball, it is just a lot of fun. But it's not just Steph. There's the other Splash brother, Clay, who dropped 37 points in a quarter, and whose jump shot is actually a little prettier. I mean, I'm just saying. There were Barnes dunks, Bogut blocks, Draymond Green showing us heart over height every single night. Draymond's also known to add a few more words that I cannot repeat. Then you've got a couple of unselfish all-stars in their own right that were coming off the bench, Andre Iguodala and David Lee. And a bench that was so good that an opposing coach complained they've got 2 starting lineups. In the finals, Golden State faced Cleveland and a guy named LeBron. Down 2-1, Coach Kerr had the guts to shake up the lineup, and it worked. Andre came off the bench, played great D, took home the finals MVP, and it was a perfect example of the kind of team this is. Everybody doing their part, everybody ready to step up at any moment, unselfish play, folks looking out for each other. And it's the same kind of selflessness that the Warriors show in their community as well. They've led the way for the NBA's commitment to our My Brother's Keeper initiative, promoting mentoring in the Bay Area and nationwide. I know they met with some students in the White House Mentor Program earlier today. This team's also supporting the city's Oakland Promise effort to help more kids make it through college. You've had players take a stand against gun violence, work with they've worked with Michelle's Let's Move initiative. They've dressed up as Santa to deliver Christmas presents to those in need. And the first time I met Steph was because he had partnered with the UN Foundation to donate 3 anti-malarial mosquito nets for every 3-pointer he makes. So last night, that's 33 nets. So keep shooting, Steph. Not that he needs any encouragement, obviously. The point is, this is a great basketball team, but it's a great organization. It's a great culture. And these are outstanding young men. And some of them I've met before. Steph I've gotten to know a little better. They're the kind of people you want representing a city, representing the NBA, and the kinds of people that you want our kids to be rooting for. So they have a lot to be proud of. Good luck for the rest of this season. Maybe you'll break that Bulls record. But as Coach Kerr pointed out, he wins either way. Either way, he's got the record. So thanks, everybody. Congratulations. You want to say something?
Thank you. I'm a little thirsty. Is that my water or yours? I thought maybe it was yours. I'm guessing it's yours. I want to say thank you. I also want to say congratulations for becoming the first president in our nation's great history to use the term clowning. So that was, although maybe Teddy Roosevelt used it somewhere in there. I don't know. But we want to thank you. Our organization is so honored to be here, to meet you, to tour the White House, and to celebrate our championship with you here. Our general manager, Bob Myers, who you met earlier, also mentioned to me that you're going to be a free agent at the end of this year. And so we don't know if you have anything lined up yet. But
I'm ready to go.
you can consider this a symbol of an offer that's coming. We want you, as soon as your duties are done here in the White House, we'd like you to be the leader of Dub Nation.
44.
So,
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the White House, and give it up for the world champion Cleveland Cavaliers. That's right, I said world champion and Cleveland in the same sentence. That's what we're talking about when we talk about hope and change. We've got a lot of big Cavs fans here in the house, including Ohio's Governor John Kasich and his daughters Emma and Reese. We got some outstanding members of Congress that are here, and obviously we want to recognize Cavs owner Dan Gilbert, who put so much of himself into trying to make sure this thing worked. One of the great general managers of the game, David Griffin. And the pride and joy of Mexico, Missouri, Coach Tyronn Lue. I also, before I go any further, want to give a special thanks to J.R. Smith's shirt for showing up. I wasn't sure if it was going to make an appearance today. I'm glad you came. You're a very nice shirt. Last season, the Cavs were the favorites in the East all along, but the road was anything but stable. And I'm not even talking about what happened on the court. There were rumors about who was getting along with who, and why somebody went in a picture, and LeBron's tweeting, and this was all big news. But somehow Coach Lue comes in, and everything starts getting a little smoother. And they hit their stride in the playoffs. Yeah, everybody can sit down. I'll be here for a while. They start winning. They start winning their first 10 games in the playoffs, setting record after record for three-point shooting. But obviously, what this all comes down to is a team that for the first time in NBA history comes back from being down 3-1 in the finals. The first team in history to dig themselves out of a hole like that. And I should add that by knocking off the Warriors, they cemented the 1996 Bulls as the greatest team of all time. So your president thanks you for that. Now, I know. That's funny, isn't it? Yes, it is. See, everybody's happy when their team wins. The comeback was remarkable, and you learn about people when they're down against a historically good Warriors team. Cavs won games 5 and 6 by double digits. you had both LeBron James and Kyrie Irving becoming the first duo ever to score 40 points apiece in a finals game. And then, in Game 7, the Cavs fall behind on the road, only to fight back and lock up the title with an unbelievable 2 minutes. There was the block, what LeBron has said was the defining play of his career. The shot by Kyrie, putting the Cavs up 5. The stop by Kevin Love. Boy, I mean, Kevin was moving. I hadn't seen defense like that. But it wasn't just those outstanding players, not then and not throughout the year, because this was always a team effort. JR always seemed to hit those shots, no, don't shoot that, and then it goes in, and man, that was a great shot. You got Tristan Thompson, who has as great of a motor as anybody, and put in extra work to teach himself how to shoot free throws with the wrong hand. I should have tried that with some bill signings around here. You got Channing Frye, who came in right over the trading deadline and changed the tone of the locker room and his sharp shooting. Richard Jefferson, Dante Jones, providing leadership and giving inspiration to all of us old people that, you can still do something at that age. Iman Shumpert, playing not only great defense and scoring, but also delivered his wife's baby in the bathtub, using a pair of headphones to tie off the umbilical cord. Now that's something right there. That was an all-star move. Got the MacGyver flat top, which we miss. And of course, there's the guy LeBron calls his favorite player of all time, James Jones. The two are a package deal. 6 straight finals appearances. Their names even go together. LeBron James Jones. But the truth is, LeBron wouldn't be LeBron without his teammates. Kyrie, Kevin, Tristan. Michelle's brother, who was an excellent basketball player, always says that you can learn a lot about somebody's character by the way they play basketball. And when you see LeBron James, it is not just his power and his speed and his vertical. It is his unselfishness. It is his work ethic. It is his insistence on always making the right play. It is his determination, all of which makes him one of the great players of all time. And you saw it in those last 3 games. Put up some of the most staggering statistics in finals history. He did it the year before, despite injuries, dragging his team along to make a very competitive series. You saw it when this kid from Akron broke down and fell to his knees when he realized that he had finally fulfilled a promise that he had made all those years ago and delivered that championship back to Northeast Ohio. So this is a player, and this is a team that knows what this title means to Cleveland. This is a city that's, throughout sports history, been through a lot. The fumble, the drive, Jordan over Elo, a whole lot more. But through it all, Cleveland was always Believe land, and that's why the Cavs have always given back to their fans and the community that's been so loyal to them. Over the last 22 years, they've given more than $23 million to local charities. And more than just the money, players and coaches have made about 200 visits annually to schools, hospitals, food kitchens, and more, including assisting educational programs that reach more than 100,000 kids in Northeast Ohio. And these Cavs exemplify a growing generation of athletes that are using their platforms to speak out. You know, we've seen Kevin on combating campus sexual assault, LeBron on issues like gun violence and working with Michelle to help more kids go to school, go to college. His foundation is doing something incredible, paying college tuition for 1,100 kids from Akron. I should mention that as we were walking out, Dan Gilbert has been unbelievable in the work he's been doing in Detroit, his hometown, and giving back. And finally, earlier today, the Cavs met with Attorney General Loretta Lynch and my senior advisor, Valerie Jarrett, to discuss steps they're taking to help build understanding between law enforcement and the Cleveland community, part of a league-wide effort to build stronger communities all across the country, including holding open conversations so we can begin to bridge divides and diffuse tensions and see each other as one American family. It's really important work. It's just one of a number of recent efforts. We've been proud to partner with the NBA during my time as president, from the league's support of My Brother's Keeper initiative to the mentoring initiatives to Michelle's Let's Move and Joining Forces efforts. The NBA has been a model for positive change, and the fact that it's not just a responsibility of government, it takes all of us, businesses, nonprofits, athletes, role models, working together to achieve the progress that we seek. So I know that Cleveland could not be happier and prouder of having this trophy, but this was already a championship group of guys even before last year, and you should be very proud of them. Give it up for the world champs one last time. Dan, you want to say anything? Okay. You guys got anything to say? Come on, Kev.
So, from the 2016 World Champion Cleveland Cavaliers, we wanted to present this 16
This is
Obama
outstanding.
jersey.
I like this.
Come on, guys, you got anything else?
Now, the only thing is, though, these sleeves get tight. Can I tear these out? Can I rip them?
You can rip
Ron rips it.
Yeah, I'll show you exactly how to do it.
I'm joking. All right. Well, why don't we strike the podium here so we get a better picture? Team, come on up. See, I got a good team, too. There's nothing wrong with having two of them. Come on. Get back. Am I blocking anybody? See everybody? All right. All right. Thank you, everybody.
See you again.